Alright guys, First Descendant Endgame tips. Tip number one, man. Don't just copy builds that you guys see out there, right? Don't copy builds. Instead, understand and practice with them. I have almost 1,000 hours in this game. Last time I checked on Steam, it was like 982. And from my time there, guys, one thing I can say is it really takes a lot of experimenting and practicing with a certain descendant or a certain weapon for you to really get a grasp on it, right? You know, you could play a few hours, think you got it, and then you'll be surprised. Like, like every hour you could learn something different. So, you know, there are lots of builds out there. I make some on my channel as well, but really, like, don't copy builds, like guys, just like that. Like I see the retention or the most watched part of videos on YouTube, and literally the build is like the most repeated or watched part that people run to. And right, okay, I get it, right? You want to see a build, but if you do not understand it, right, you copy the build and then you you go do a match or something and you find yourself sitting on the floor waiting to be revived, all right, and then you're looking all confused. You know, so learn why people have certain things. A lot of it comes down to play style as well, guys. So, you know, what I personally do is that I come up with my own builds, and then if I feel like it's underperforming or I want to compare, then I would go look at how someone else's build is performing. But to start off just looking, it's just not me. But anyways, moving on. Endgame tip number two, right? You guys should know what gives you the best EHP or effective health if you have trouble surviving, right? So if you're not the most skilled player in the game, right? I'm not myself, but if you have trouble surviving or avoiding certain attacks or stuff like that, right? You may want to look into getting better effective health in this game, right? So I see a lot of people sometimes post they have all this defense, for example, and then they're still dying fast in certain missions, right? Well, not to get too deep into the mathematics of this, I'm just gonna give you guys a high level overview. High level overview of EHP. Do you see this stat right here? This is a priority, right? There's no if, ands, or but. Having the most HP or prioritizing HP or your health over defense and these elemental resistances is always going to be better for survivability. So I could literally have zero defense here, right? And I would still do fine just because of this high health pool. There are other people who are mathematical geniuses and do all these calculations, and there are several charts out there that they've come up with to show that the best effective health is to max this, or the best way to survive is to max out your HP as much as possible. Now, you don't have to do it, you know, as much as possible. It's just enough to where you're comfortable with whatever build you're playing. This is not a build video, but just to go into a little bit of how you get a little more HP here, because some people put on mods like increase HP and Steam Accelerant, and they still don't have that much HP. So they asked me how I got 28,000, and the reason is because of health on my component. So I've showed this before, but if you look at my components, it has max HP on everything. So that's just personally how I like to play. There are some descendants I don't do this on. Some have way less HP and because of certain sets, but for the most part, it's these four components because of the raw HP. So that was tip number two as far as survivability. So endgame tip number three, right? Bring the elemental mod into a fight that the enemy is weak against. I think a lot of people underestimate how much damage an elemental boost on your weapon can do, right? So Just to give you guys an example, let me show my executor build, right? So right now I'm running the two elemental mods on there, right? Well, I have this one as well, but this is more just for the firearm attack because of the unique ability. But anyways, I have electric enhancement to add electric damage, and then I have this here to boost the electric damage even further. Now, I had some people question this build. This is not a build video specifically for the executor, but these two mods make a dramatic difference in DPS. I don't know what the exact multiplier is for elemental attacks that an enemy is weak against. All I know, guys, I've tested and it's high. Whatever that number is, it's high. It makes a dramatic difference in the kill time of anything you fight. So, long story short, man, bring an elemental mod on your weapon that the enemy is weak against. Do not sleep on doing that, guys. You can stack as much crit damage and crit chance and stuff as you want, but that elemental boost makes a big difference, along with weak point as well, depending on what you're fighting, or if you're good at hitting like weak points. Bigger hit points on enemies like Colossi are easier to hit, but I just want to point out that weak point makes a difference too. But don't sleep on the elemental, man. So these are 3 of my endgame tips I wanted to share with you guys. I will have a lot more in the future. I just wanted to share only 3 for now. I am feeling under the weather, so I don't feel like going too long with this video. But yeah, if you like this video, or if you guys have any other endgame tips you want to share, feel free to post it in the comments, man. But yeah, appreciate you all watching. See you in the next one.